All right, so message coming in today, Sunday, so I guess this is a soul's day message, as in solar. And indeed, a lot of solar energy has been coming in, continues to come in. I had to stay out of it most of today myself. Soaked up a lot yesterday, and you may find that too much is too much. So, but I do encourage getting out. I've been walking a bit here in a green space. The green space that is usually where I'm making these videos from, and getting my feet on the ground. Walk for a little while on a grassy spot, just bare feet. And it's a good thing to do. It will help if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like just kind of bursting at the seams almost, or just like aware that you have seams is, I think, maybe a way that, at least for me, describes the seams all kind of become present and active. It's all spilling out, all the extra energy. And I think because of that, there can be this sense of, deer passing by out there. It always happens. There can be this sense of, I'm losing some of it, right? And you don't need to worry about that. And that's one of the reasons why getting out in a green space, getting your feet on the ground, leaning on a tree somewhere, sitting with some flowers, watching non-human creatures do their thing. All these things can help because there's no lack. You're not losing anything. It's just there's so much energy. And that's the thing to notice right now. And that's exactly the message that's coming out. There's no lack. That's a fable. There's created lack. Human created lack for other humans in order to control humans, like cattle, so that humans can be farmed for profits, for influence, for resources. And that's a fable. It's a lie. It's wrong. It's not true. Now, in order to get the resources that are held by just a few, that's a different question. And that's a path that we're on right now. We're in a restructuring, potentially, if enough of us get in gear, enough of us realize that this whole complicated machine that we've built is unnecessary. It's literally overcomplicated, and it's built upon the idea that overcomplication is good. Go look up the ideas of one Adam Smith. It's explicit. This isn't a conspiracy. This is exactly what theories from the 18th century economics talk about, right? And leading up into 19th century economics. That complication is good. The more we complicate everything, the more there is for everyone to do. I got a buck out here with 4 or 5 points, maybe. Beautiful. And the more we complicate everything, then the more there is for human beings to do, and the economy grows, and this allows for improvements and yada yada yada. It's not that that's completely untrue, okay? And this has to do with people specializing in particular types of jobs, and sometimes now we get to the point where it's so specialized that, you know, one person just does the same thing over and over and over all day long, and it's really inhuman. It's not how human beings are wired. We're not wired to do that, and it's soul crushing. And so that's a trap that many of us are in, or have been in. I've experienced that much of my life. So it's awful. It's not necessary. It's not completely necessary. There are times where, yes, human beings need to do chores and human beings need to experience drudgery, otherwise certain things don't get done. That is true. It can be true that the more we vary things and allow different people to perform different parts of the business of reproducing our lives, that there's a give and a take there, and we don't all need to know everything, and there's something okay with that. But there's an extreme to which that has been taken over the past 100, 120 years, 140 years, and, you know, starting further back. But I would say, you know, we're still in the prime time of it, right? Where everything is just so overcomplicated, and the overcomplication starts to run everything, right? And it's all justified by this idea of lack. Well, if we don't do it this way, there won't be enough. There won't be enough for everybody. There's no other way to do it. It's the only way. It's the only way we can have an economy that works, and all these types of things. And it's been sold and it's been bought by humanity as a whole. And I don't care if you're, you know, in a overtly capitalist country, or if you're in a country that claims to be, you know, communist or socialist or whatever. Everybody's gone this way. It's industrialization and, you know, everything that's come with it, right, is a big driver of this. And, you know, quote unquote modern technology. And now, you know, in the last 20 or so years, 25 years, almost 30 years now, that has been even more overcomplicated, you know, in the digital realm, right? And it's always a give and take. You know, this process gives us things that we can do, different ways of doing things. A single human being can do more with less. That's not untrue. But the overall society, right, is much more complicated than it necessarily needs to be. And even if it needed to be for a particular time period, does it have to remain that way? Right now that we've achieved a certain amount of, say, progress, loaded term, but best way to probably talk about it, you know, in terms of technology, in terms of our abilities to make things, and process things, and, do things efficiently, and so on. There's a plateau, and we've reached it, and we haven't decided, because this is a decision, to allow the bulk of humanity to benefit from that. Only a few are truly benefiting from it, and I mean a literal few, right? Not that many people are benefiting from that. So all this to say, as background, what's coming through, which is there is no lack. We have what we need. There's enough. Now, in a particular place, there might be lack, and there might be need. But overall, there's enough. The sun's still shining, things are still growing, things are still giving birth and reproducing. All of this is true. And we depend on that more than anything for our lives, for these material beings, right, that we are. And that is masked from most of us. It's hidden from most of us. So there's something that this leads into, and I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, but it sometimes can be, right? It can sound like maybe I'm trying to be sexist, and I'm really getting involved in gender wars and things like this, and I'm really not. But that being said, there is a particular type of feminine energy, and it's specifically in the feminine energy that perceives lack, perceives there's not enough, and sort of tightens everything up, right? And grips at things, grasps at things, foresees a future with not enough, with lack. And there are good reasons for this, because a lot of us have gone through those types of experiences. And there are times when we need to, as it said, tighten the belt, right? Sometimes we go through those times, those lean times, and it's not always bad. Sometimes it's good for us to go through those times. There's an extreme of it that is always bad, right? And it's awful, and it's usually human created when it happens. Or at least partially human created. In any case, there's this feminine mindset, or an energy in the feminine energy, and this could be, it can be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, but it comes out of the feminine energy, that there's not enough. I can't give to you because there's not enough. Those children have to starve because my children need enough. And there's a moment where this can be true, and there's a widespread instance of that in the modern industrialized world, where so many who are in that energy, in that mindset, and it's a toxic version of femininity, right? It's a toxic version of the feminine energy, which should be receiving and giving, should be doing both, and in particular ways. Well, this energy says, no, there's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough. And here's where it gets truly toxic, because, and I've seen this in my own life. I've seen it over and over and over. I've seen it in this culture. Okay, so again, this is not about sexism. This is about energy. Okay, there's two basic energies swirling, the masculine and the feminine. This type of feminine energy enlists the masculine energy to enforce upon the rest of the world its own feeling of lack. I'm not going to have enough. You guard what I have. You keep everyone else away from it. You take from them because I don't have enough. You go make war because there's not enough here for me. The masculine and the feminine work together on these things. See, there's this narrative out in the world that if we, just give either men or just give women or just the feminine or just the masculine control of everything, that will solve everything. And it's bullcrap on both sides, right? Because that's imbalance. We need both. There's also, though, the reason this world is so stable in its ugliness is because both have been in a toxic mode. The feminine there's lack, no, we're not giving to those poor children while I go live in a mansion, right? And that's okay, masculine energy. Again, energy, not male, not female person, but energy. That masculine energy, put up those walls, put up structures, keep them from having, because we need to keep it all, right? And it stops the flow. And overall, we've structured a society that then structures the haves from the have-nots. It does. And it tries to keep those who have not in that energy of having not, so that they must go to the haves to get what they need. That's undeniable. It's a world that is ugly. It's dying. It's always dying. It has been dying for at least a century, I would argue. And it hasn't been able to die. Now is the time when a healed feminine is waking up to this. It is specifically a healed feminine energy that is waking up to this. It is going, wait a minute, there's enough. Wait a minute, we don't have to do it this way. And it is that healed feminine energy that needs to appeal to a healed masculine energy. Okay? How can we tell these are healed? Well, we can tell when that feminine energy is like, no, there's enough. Of course you can have. Of course you can share. And we can tell when the masculine is healed, when a toxic version of femininity comes out and says, go enforce this. Go keep them from having. And that masculine energy says, no, I ain't doing that. That's not what I'm for. I'm here for guarding what needs to be guarded. That's, those are other children. Those are other, women and mothers and, people in hospitals. You probably know what I'm talking about here. So this is the energy that's playing around right now. And if you're watching this, you're either on a path of healing or you've gone down already a long ways down a path of healing to heal this energy. And it's both that need healing, the masculine and the feminine and the masculine. It's not just one or the other. It's not just men or women. It's both. I've seen this, okay? I've seen it so much. It can be, a particular person who identifies more with their feminine energy, again, in a toxic way, embracing this need and lack mindset, and then enlisting someone who's more in their masculine energy to get that person to then enforce. It can be the other way too. It can be that masculine energy saying, well, there's rules, so therefore we can't go help those people because of the rules, right? And getting the rules more important than people, and then the feminine energy should be coming back with, oh no, the people are more important than the rules, so clearly the rules need to change. It's both, right? It goes both ways. So there's nobody who's not at fault here. There's nobody who's particularly at fault here. It's the way the world has been. It's an unfortunate thing we've gone through, and it's something that's really coming to light. And there are many other things coming to light that are more surface level. I'm drawing out here what this message is intended to do, is to draw out here what's really down at the bottom, right? Way down at the bottom of all this, okay? Are these energies. And when we realize that, we can look at the whole world in a different way. Again, we can look at the whole world and realize there's fruitfulness and there's enough. Even if I don't have what I need right now to be able to give to you, I can recognize that you are worthy of being given to, that if I do have something I can give, let's do that. That I don't need to go enlist, a toxic masculinity to push you down and keep you from getting, because I'm trying to get for myself and keep for myself. And all these types of things we can realize in a different way, and many of us are. Not all of us are, and that makes it hard to go look out at a world that doesn't line up with what some of us are realizing and have realized in some cases for a long time. And it's just like honestly, it's been a long time kind of waiting around for a bulk of the world to kind of start to catch up with this stuff. And it's finally now happening after like 20 years or more. It's starting to happen in a greater and greater way, where I think we're ready to really put pressure on, the status quo, the social structures in place. And so that's kind of that's what this extra solar energy coming in is for. That's what it's for. It is empowering us. It is getting into us. So soak it up. And when you feel like you got too much and it's like leaking out of you, understand it's because you've got so much. And it's not about the stuff you have, right? It's about you. You are energy. You have energy. You hold energy, and you can let that energy flow. You don't have to keep it to yourself, right? You can let it flow. Let it flow. It's going to come back to you. There's this, again, energy of fear that it won't come back to me if I give it. Well, no, it will. It will. Let it flow. That's the message this Soul's Day. And if you're on a healing journey, if it gets too intense, you need someone to share it with, to pick somebody else's brain who's been going through it and who's gone through it and has been down a lot of roads. That's what I'm here for. So do reach out. There'll be ways to reach out in the description of the video. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So sending you much love and peace, all that sunny light energy you can possibly stand. Sending it right now.